Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad that you could be with us today. Before I get to that, um, what the subject matter is going to be today is, are you feeling overwhelmed with things that you may have that are upcoming? Maybe any task or anything that may be upcoming, but you're feeling overwhelmed as to how to go about handling it. Um, as I was saying, alongside, I've got Jan from the Save Money and More with Jan channel. Hey,
Hey, Steve. Hey, everybody.
so, hey, Jan. You actually have a little bit of feedback on this.
I do. And I have to say, by the way, thanks for having me here, Steve. Hi, everybody.
Yeah,
Steve, you mentioned a really important word in your opening. You want to know what that word was?
overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Yes. How many of us, especially right now, this time of the year, kids are back at school, you're getting into a different routine, getting up perhaps a little bit earlier, not that little bit of laid back kind of thing like we have in the summer mornings. The mornings when you convert back to going back to school could be an entirely different ball game. What do? We get overwhelmed. And then there might be
Mhm.
things we want to do, it doesn't happen. We feel like the whole world is on our shoulder. And that is a very stressful feeling. Well, take heart. I have a recommendation for anybody listening, even for you too, Steve, and even for myself, Jan. When you feel like that, when we feel like that, that's our bodies and
Mhm.
minds telling us to step back a little, to not look at the entire huge elephant in the living room or wherever room you're in, staring in front of us. It is very overwhelming. And you know what happens, Steve? I don't know about you, but when I get overwhelmed, guess what happens? Absolutely nothing unless I make a decision. Unless I make a decision to step back, take that cup of tea or cup of joe, and just kick back, put on a little bit of relaxing music, it's perfectly okay. If that's going to decompress me and make things more manageable, I will do that. What do I do next? I get either good old fashioned pen and paper, still works, never runs out of batteries, and you never have to recharge it. I sit down with my good old fashioned pen and paper, or you could do it on your computer or in your phone. And I say, you know what? This big old elephant in the room is overwhelming, but I am going to slice that elephant up one bit at a time. You know, Steve, many times on, let's say, people's wish list, there are things that they want to financially pay for. Now, let's talk specifically about being financially overwhelmed. Uh, uh. That could be a real bruiser. I mean, that would take up, like for many folks, about half of the elephant right then and there if they are not financially overwhelmed. Well, how can we take that slice by slice? Get that pen and paper. There may be specific categories. Now, one of the categories that I want to like really reduce it down to are things you may need for your household and not even huge things like those little, nitpick things that you always say you're going to get around to it. I'm going to get around to it to put up those curtains. I'm going to get around to it to buy new rods to hang the curtains on. I'm going to get around to it to take a measure and measure a piece of furniture space because to plan to buy a certain thing, whatever that thing may be. But then we look at the numbers because Steve, as I always mention, it's always important to look at our budget. And then we realize I want to get all of these things done. Let's say you write down 10 things. Wow, that could be overwhelming all over again. What's the point, Jan? 10
Mhm.
things on the list, on that big old list? No, 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 no. Take heart with that cup of joe, with that relaxing music, and know this, okay? Unless your pants are on fire, which heaven forbid, ever, ever, never, those one things are not as urgent as we may think they are. They're niceties, the things you want to do, you really want to get them done. They are important. I didn't say they're not important. Yes, they are. So you could take, for example, let's address this. I'm just being simplistic here, Steve, with curtains and a rod. I want new rods. I want new curtains. Well, if your budget says that that's all that you can put aside for this month. Write it down, put it on a calendar if you want. Mark it on your calendar. This month, let's say September, curtains and rod, and it's within your affordability. Check mark, get that done. Let's say in October, you've been meaning to buy a brand new mop, the kind you really like, not the old fashioned, dirty old gray, stringy one, but the better one. You've been meaning to do it, right, Steve, for a thing like that? And say, you know what? In October, I'm going to get me that good old stringy mop. And as the months go by, if you keep doing that, you'll have everything you want without being overwhelmed, without it breaking the bank, and still at the end of the day getting the job done. But there is one
Hmm.
big recommendation I do have. Prioritize your list. What is the most important thing that you want to get done in that manner? Only you can answer that, Steve. What do you think about that?
Well, if you, that's what I was kind of hinting at in a similar fashion. And whenever a person goes to take their car and have any type of, mechanical work done to it, like one of the places I was taking it to, um, for an oil change, a lot of the time they would come back and say, well, your car needs this, this. Okay, maybe so, maybe not. But if it needs all of that done to it, I may not financially be able to afford to have it done right then and there. So what do I do? Do one thing a month. Do one thing a month on that list, cross it off, and eventually you'll have it done. So it'll take you, if you have four things, it'll take you 4 months, maybe five. Maybe there's a time that something may come up in between that you may not be able to do it. But I would look at that list and say, what is the most important thing that needs to be addressed first? And I
Yeah.
would go after that. Because I always do say this, if you don't take care of something, that something is not going to take care of you back. Um, Everything that you own, no matter what it is, if you really think about it, has a maintenance plan on it. You do have to do maintenance on things. You can't just use it and use it and use it and use it and not do anything to it. You have to do something to something ever so often in order to keep it maintained and fully functional.
Wow.
Um,
That is
so
so
I
true.
I do believe in that. Yeah, if you have a car, if you don't take care of it, it's not going to take care of you back.
Truth.
So yeah, always consider,
Interesting.
yeah, consider no, not just a car, but pretty much anything. A lot of things need maintenance, even a house, a home where you live. You have to maintain it, or it's going to fall down around your ears. So, yeah, consider, like you said, do one thing a month, but I would say pick out the most important thing and then go from the most important to the least important.
That's excellent, Steve. And you're pointing out prioritizing. And I'm so much with that. I like what you said about the maintenance of. You had me thinking there for a second. Even if a person has an object that they really like to look at, it's just like a piece of art or just something, even just a knickknack. It's an inert thing. It's not doing anything. It's just sitting there, but it provides you eye pleasure to look at it, to look at it and get like a feeling like I really like that thing. That thing still needs maintenance. We have to dust them. We have to clean them. Even if it's just sitting there doing nothing. If you forget to do those things for a little while, you'll be very surprised as to how much what? How did this dust get there? But it does. So, like you said, Steve is 100% correct. Everything needs maintenance. 100%. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth. But if you do it in little bits and pieces, you can get the job done and not be overwhelmed. That's the
No.
word. I'm so glad you brought up that word in the opening of the show.
Hmm. Well, if you think about something else too, um, even a lot of your household chores is kind of like maintenance. You have to do the trash, you've got dishes to wash, you have food to prepare. If you don't do those, it's not going to magically do itself. It has to be us.
Not
So
kidding. It piles up. And that's why I know that you're the same way. It's so much easier to work as you go along.
it
When you're
is.
making a meal, right? The hot sudsy water waiting in the sink, clearing of the dishes or the utensils as you go along. And it just makes life so much easier. And with this start of the school year and everything else that goes with it, I don't know about you, but I like easier. Easier works for me.
Yeah, if you that's exactly what I tend to do when I'm preparing a meal. As the meal is being prepared, I'm cleaning up after myself. I don't wait until the last minute because then you're going to wind up having a whole sink full of stuff, and I'm not I'm not into that. I'd rather just have one or two things I got to deal with at the end instead of 10, 8, 10, 12 things. I'm just using that number as an example, but it could be less, but I would rather just have one or two things to worry about instead of a whole sink full of stuff.
100%.
All right. So anyway, I'm glad all of you could stop by and tune in, um, to watch our video. Hopefully this was of some help to you. Now, I do mention this each and every time. Um, I do like to be shown recognition for my work, the quality of stuff that I put out there. And if you do want to contribute a little something or donate, um, please feel free to donate an Amazon gift card. There's no amount too little or too big. I'm appreciative of whatever amount is left, and it's not hard to do. It's very simple. In fact, it's within 3 or 4 clicks. All it takes is knowing a person's email address. Once you know that, the rest is pretty self-explanatory. So if anybody feels like, and you don't have to, but if you feel like contributing a little something, something, please feel free. The Amazon gift card is always a nice way to go. Well, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Again, I or Jan will see you back here next time. And again, we thank you for tuning in. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye bye.